We're not going to talk about Buck 110s today. Well, Tom, have you lost your mind? No, I haven't lost my mind. What I am going to talk about is their other biggest seller, which is the 119. It seems to be the poster child for whenever there is a stabbing or something out in our lovely society. The news people, they have to pick out a knife and put it up there on the screen, stabbing in such and such neighborhood. And they always show the Buck 119. Once before I mentioned that the 119 is in a bunch of movies. Well, I was corrected on one movie that the 119 I gave credit for being in actually isn't in. And I believe it was Scream, the 120, which is a 119, but a couple inches longer. What's a couple inches? Between friends. Right at the beginning of the new year, I received two 119s. Here they are. This one in my right hand has green micarta, which for you who are savvy and know your knives, you know that this one has the S35VN blade in it. A lovely knife, well balanced. That is a lot of knife. Totally illegal to carry around as an EDC. For a time there, before I became savvy to the New York laws, thinking it was simply you were cool if your knife was concealed, and I was completely wrong. It not only has to be concealed, 4 inches or greater, illegal in New York. You want to argue that point? Go for it. I don't care. Generally don't do this, but hey, why not? How about some specs? 6-inch blade, 4.5-inch handle. I can see CNC machining down the center of this handle, and the finger grooves are more pronounced than they are on this, though this one does have some nice finger grooves, which are more pronounced than the all-black version that you can get at Walmart and most of your local sporting goods stores, to the tune of about 76 bucks. This one doesn't have the machining down the center. It's probably been polished a little more aggressively. So let's go back to the green micarta one. I have not monkeyed with this knife at all yet, but this is where you, the viewer, get to have some input as to what you think I should do to this particular knife. I've already made some mods to the other one, but I'm going to show you this one first. Neat. The guard sticks up kind of far, so you really can't choke up a whole hell of a lot and do some fine work. Let's say you're doing feather sticks and that sort of stuff. I plan on using this knife for field dressing big game, maybe squirrels, rabbits. I have hunting knives. I don't like the big guard on top. I have a 103 that I lopped the top off of and made a nice ramp, and wouldn't that be lovely to show you right now, but I don't have it with me. So as is, I think that's too much guard. I think that's too much guard. I love the size of this particular handle. I have large to extra large hands. That's the size glove I wear. This handle fits it beautifully. You can see just how much room there is. Now that we have discussed the fact that I am going to alter that knife a little bit, let us take you to this knife, and I will describe it. Same specs. I have already modified this guard. As you can see, I have greatly reduced that, and it actually forms a bit of a thumb ramp. And I took about 1/4 of an inch off of that. I found that that's very helpful. I can choke up a lot better. I even rounded the edges on the butt because I like to 3-finger these and chop a little bit. Because if I'm going to have it out in the woods, I always coming across branches that are smacking me in the face vines, all sorts of stuff. And something about this size is good to chop with. This particular knife has the 420 HC steel in it, but the neat thing about this, and it really turned me onto it, was the red Phenolic handle. Now I looked up Phenolic. It's a very, very stable material, basically impervious to anything, including heat. You can hit this thing with a blowtorch, you're not going to melt it, you're not going to distort it, nothing's going to happen to it. Acids, gasoline, alkalis, anything you throw at this, it's not going to hurt it. So that's kind of cool. It is also lighter weight than this. So it changes the balance of these knives. If I was looking to take something out into the woods and I was going to use it for some chopping and all that, I would go for this one because it's more blade heavy than this one where it's almost at the balance point right there at the guard. Not a big deal, but that's just something that I think about, and you should too. With the reduced guard, I can choke up for feather sticks, fine cutting, doing whatever. I'm debating about taking off more of the guard, so I would be interested in your input on that as well. Because for kitchen work, when the guard hangs down below the blade, for chopping, the longer the guard, the further away the blade is going to be that actually can touch the cutting board. And remember, we're not using plastic or titanium anymore. We're using wood. I made a video about that. The higher this is, and if I can get it to be even with the blade, then the whole blade can be used for chopping. So I'm still thinking about it. Do I want to completely eliminate the guard or not? I don't know. And then the other thing, which I did on an old Buck 119, I drilled a hole through the handle and made a lanyard. And the other thing that really turned me on about this knife was the blade stamp. Something about that blade stamp just spoke to me. I don't know what it was. I just thought it was cool. The sheath for the S35VN and green micarta handle is this. The sheath for the 75th anniversary version and the red Phenolic handle has that stamp. The other modification that I want to do to this knife, and I just saw another guy do it, and I thought, you know, that's a pretty good idea, because this clip point is kind of stabby and probably prone to breakage. And though it does offer more belly for skinning and that sort of task, it is upswept. A real good skinning knife generally is a dropped point. Now, because this already has the swedge here, I want to make this more into a drop point. I'm going to draw on this blade what I want to do to it, and I want your input and your opinion is if you think I should follow through and do it. If you think that's a good idea, let me know. If you think that's an incredibly stupid idea, let me know. I am really open to all suggestions on that particular front because, you know, I've got two of these. I'd like to make this a workhorse. I can get another one of these. I've only ever seen this once before, so I'm not really willing to take a chance. And I like it the way it is. Thank you very much for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. And I really look forward to your input on what modifications you think I should follow through with on that knife.